Imagination is more important than knowledge.
What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the stream. So today we're going to be going over, recent price action in Bitcoin. Just so you guys know, this is just part of like a live stream series that I've been doing. So I'm going to be going over a lot of things that I said, the past few streams. But so guys, we're looking at these channels here, and we were looking, the other day we were looking at the similarities between the two channels here, guys. This channel here, this wedge that we were looking at here and here. Although, what I also found interesting is that we're also sitting in these two channels here. So, we have those similar wedge patterns, but we also have these two similar channels. The price is bouncing almost identically on both of these channels right now. So, looking at some past price action, we might be able to tell what's going to happen here in the future. Although, right now the price is getting a little bit more stable. It's consolidating a little bit more. But guys, we're looking at almost identical patterns here on both off of that 6K bounce and this 6,500 bounce. Support and resistance area is moving down right now, guys. We're gonna go check out the 4-hour here. We have lower lows, lower highs. We had a short break above this channel. Bounced off of that resistance line and then came right back to this support line here. So we're getting lower lows, guys. We're getting lower highs. Of course, right now the bulls are going to be wanting to get a bounce off of this area. The bulls are going to want to get a bounce here, because if we can't bounce out of this, we have all this room to move down, and the potential for a lower low here, around the the $7,700 level. If we can't get a bounce out of here, guys, if we can't rally our way through this, we'll be making that next lower low and just continuing the trend, guys. This is still a bear trend. In my last stream, I was looking for, I was talking about how I expect there to be a pullback to 7,700 right here. I was expecting it to happen here. Although that didn't happen, we got a continued rally. And I think because we got a continued rally without that extra pullback, you know, it's a little bit weak. If we had gotten that pullback there, guys, this rally would have been a lot stronger. There would have been more momentum to move up, but because we just had this like slow push through this resistance, and you know, we created a sort of a new high here, although the highs are still getting lower. So overall, momentum is decreasing. You know, we're not getting these price pushes that a lot of people were expecting. You know, these lows here aren't met with all that much buying here, guys. So, you know, until we get a solid price push up, I would expect this trend to continue, guys. Crypto Cali is back. Craig Neve, what's going on, guys? Craig is saying the manipulators are keeping Bitcoin between 7,500 and 9,000, and the reason now is the kill zone. Yeah, I mean, of course, you know, the Bitcoin whales are going to try to prop this thing up as much as they can before, you know, the inevitable sell-off. They're gonna, you know, this is all just part of a cash out process, guys. All these bounces. If they can get people to believe that there's still a chance, they can get people to buy in here and cash them out in a nice slow way here. And that's kind of what we're seeing, guys. You know, a lot of the early Bitcoin adopters are still sitting on profits. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to see these price channels here looking just so similar. You know, the other day we were talking about how these wedges here were looking similar. But also, I'm just bringing this to your attention, guys. These channels are also looking similar. So, you know, I would not be surprised. You know, we've seen this before, guys. I would not be surprised for us to come back to this channel here. And from there, you know, we could keep playing in this channel. But, you know, for now, guys, it's still definitely a bearish market. You know, these lows aren't really being met with all that many buys. You know, bulls are definitely going to need to get a price push up onto this resistance line here and sort of squeeze their way past this. But for now, guys, it's lower lows and lower highs. So definitely still bearish here. Ethereum squeezing, you know, the price is a little bit more. So if we go check out Ethereum from the 6 hour, and here's Bitcoin on the 6 hour. If you compare them, guys, you know, Ethereum's a little bit more bullish right now. You know, Bitcoin's seeing lower lows, Ethereum is seeing higher lows, but that does not mean that you know, Ethereum is not susceptible to being, you know, influenced by Bitcoin. If Bitcoin has a massive drop off, then Ethereum will too. I don't see any sort of flipping happening anytime soon, guys. Market caps is just not there. But anyway, Ethereum is a little bit more bullish than Bitcoin. And if we're looking at Litecoin right now, guys, you know, let's go check out Ethereum from the 1 day here, Litecoin on the 1 day, and we'll take Bitcoin on the 1 day. Bitcoin on 1 day, Ethereum, Litecoin. So, you know, Bitcoin getting that bearish action, Ethereum getting some more bullish, you know, lower lows. And Litecoin is just really flat right now. It's very stable. So some of the investors might like that it's nice and stable. Although it is pretty bearish compared to these two. I mean, it is following Bitcoin pretty closely, but you know, it's just sitting at these lows, guys. Litecoin is not seeing all that much action right now. Just getting that consolidation. Bitcoin's on the 3 minute, still not getting that support here, guys. So I do expect us to go a little bit lower and continue on this channel.
Charge complete.
Craig is saying bad time to buy in and less day trading. Litecoin is a sick puppy right now. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, guys, you know, it's still like, I mean, technically, you know, obviously, Litecoin has seen tremendous gains, and it's still like kind of bullish. You know, if you're looking at it like this, you're still getting these lower lows, sort of. I mean, you know, some people might argue that, you know, not really. We're sort of getting horizontal movement. You know, Litecoin is a stable coin. It's a good coin. It's you know, people use Litecoin to do transfers more than any other coin. So the fact that Litecoin is stable is actually good for its use case. If you're doing transfers, you don't want your, you know, you don't want to get your value changed, you know, with volatility while you're doing transfers. The fact that it's stable is actually a good thing, and it's good for its use case. I actually kind of like to see this in Litecoin, to be honest. yeah, it's not going to get you amazing gains, but I like the fact that it's nice and stable. You know, we need more stable currencies in crypto. That is for sure. So anyone joining the stream right now, we're looking at these two channels, guys. Very similar. Price bouncing like this on a bearish trend. So, you know, maybe you could expect the price to return to this area, maybe even get a bounce back. But ultimately, guys, I think this pattern is going to be pretty similar, and I think ultimately we are going to find ourselves back at that, you know, critical support line. I don't really see, you know, this volume is really fizzling out right now, and I don't really see anything that bullish in Bitcoin's future for the time being, or for the near future, I mean. I think we're going to have a similar pattern play out here, guys, honestly. You know, just take a look, guys. Look down. You can always look at that volume. Getting that, you know, volume's fizzling out. There's a lack of interest, a lack of demand right now for Bitcoin. I don't think there's any way you could even argue against that. You know, even with consensus still getting these, you know, lower lows. So consensus was kind of a flop in my opinion. It did not do, you know, people like Tom Lee thought that consensus was going to cause all this hype, and it just didn't. So, you know, Bitcoin's demand is, you know, Bitcoin's demand is created with its price. When Bitcoin goes up, the demand goes up. And, you know, people don't want to buy an asset that's, you know, making them lose money. So why would they buy Bitcoin right now? You know, the average person isn't going to be buying Bitcoin right now. I think, guys, like what I've been preaching on this channel is I think once we get below the critical support and we find some, you know, some stability down here, you know, hit some sort of support line and we start building back out. Once we get that build out again, guys, once we start building out again, it'll create, the demand will be created. We'll have a psychological renewal for the market. People will be more inclined to buy Bitcoin knowing that we had that sell off and, you know, starting to get some parabolic moves back, you know, to the upside eventually. I think this is what people are going to be looking for. I don't think the time, it's not going to play out like this, guys. I'm not saying that we're going to get a straight shot down and a straight shot up. I'm just doing this to visualize my idea. But I think we're going to get a fall below this critical support line. We're going to feel repercussions from things like tether and market manipulation. I think Bitcoin is going to find its new price evaluation that, you know, the general population is comfortable with. And then once we hit that low, you know, we'll start building back out. You know, it'll give the general population more of a reason to buy into Bitcoin, knowing that we had a nice correction. You know, all the sellers are gone. The only thing left will be buyers down here, guys. You know, all the sellers are going to sell, and the only thing left will be buyers. And when the only thing left is buyers, you get stuff like this. So I think Bitcoin is in desperate need of a nice correction. You know, retest these parabolic lows, get a nice healthy correction in here, guys. Because if you think about it, like look at where we're trading in comparison to this run up. We're only trading here. I think we need to retest these areas again before we can start moving up. I think these areas are too critical. I don't think that Bitcoin has a demand right now that will, you know, I don't think the price is gonna be able to get propped up this high this long. I think eventually we are going to start retesting. Yeah, I don't really see this low getting put in here, guys. The bulls are going to need this thing to squeeze. The bulls are going to need this thing to squeeze into this channel here, or into this zone, and pop out. That's what the bulls are going to want to see. Otherwise, this, you know, we're going to get a continued rally and hit that lower support. IGGL is saying, please say number when describing levels. Trend is hard to see the numbers. So, yeah, I wonder if I can make this bigger. I don't know, that might be a little easier. I just made the numbers a little bit bigger there. But this bottom of the support here, you know, what we would be looking for is a return to this area and a bounce at, you know, $7,700 to $7,800. So the bottom of this support channel, or sorry, the bottom of this price channel is $7,700 to $7,800. We're going to be looking for a bounce right here, or, you know, we're going to see how the market reacts here. But that is the bottom of this current price channel, $7,700. You know, if we can't create a bullish move here, that's definitely what we're going to be seeing again. I mean, there is also, guys, the potential for price to come down and bounce off this support, you know, get like a double bottom touch or something with a short-term bullish movement. But you know, guys, in my last stream, I was looking for, I'm just going to remove some of this stuff here. So guys, in my last stream, I was looking for, you know, this move to continue so that we could play, you know, get a squeeze out of this wedge. This is what I was looking for in my last stream, because I think if we got returned to this area, I think we would have popped out of here pretty nicely. But the market did not do that. The market didn't allow that, and we sort of got a slow push up with really not all that much buying down here, guys. Got a slow push up and a rejection, and now, you know, it seems like we're in this channel. I mean, we are in this channel. We're trading in here now, guys. So, you know, a return to this zone, really not that big of a surprise if it happens. Falling back here and then starting to play again. Very likely scenario here, guys. Of course, unless, you know, we build out into this channel. You know, bulls are going to be looking for a breakout like there. You know, best case scenario, we build out here and pop out. But you know, overall, guys, I'm very bearish on Bitcoin, and I don't think that, you know, Bitcoin deserves this price evaluation, considering where it came from. I've heard a lot of people arguing about, you know, saying that this is, you know, a lot of people are saying that we're still on a parabolic move, but from my perspective, I don't think that's true. I think, you know, these lows here, guys, this parabolic move is extremely obvious. And our next low would have been put in somewhere in here. You know, the fact that we were moving up like this, and now we're going like this. The parabolic trend is broken, guys. It doesn't make it. It's just not true. People who think that this is still a parabolic trend, I believe, are wrong. This is not a parabolic trend anymore, guys. I mean, if you're looking at this, you know, our support zones here, it's, you know, we had this rally here, which was a good relief for the bulls. But you know, before that, guys, we were just sort of shooting down, and now we found ourselves in a horizontal movement. And I think eventually we're gonna, you know, find ourselves down here again. Maybe we bounce out for a sec, but eventually I think we're gonna break this and, you know, return to these parabolic lows. Get a bounce out of this zone again, and then build back out and go for higher highs. But that is, guys, I think that this bearish trend is going to continue. Looking at this is not really a low. You know, this is the 5-minute chart, guys. Just looking at this point that we bounced off of, really not all that much support at all. So, you know, like I said, returning to that zone is definitely likely at this point. So over the past few days, we saw a small bullish push, but really just not enough here, guys. Crypto Cali says, for sure, man, I'll buy massive on the low. I think we all will. Yeah, but IG, that's what you're looking for, is that $7,700 support zone. Most likely. That's at least what I see. If we're going to continue on this channel, on this price movement, that is what I expect. A return to that zone. And you know, it's possible that once we get there, you know, maybe we get a bullish bounce out and then, you know, get rejected at some point, but it looks so weak to me, guys. You know, this is not enough volume to create any sort of reversal. Neither is this. And I think we're going to have a similar pattern play out. You know, maybe we get a bounce out of here, but ultimately, guys, I think we're going to curl over again and find ourselves at that low. And eventually break through that low. But yeah, guys, failed rallies are never a good sign. Never a good sign to see a failed rally. The more failed rallies you get, the more likely, you know, the more likely chance there is for a continued bearish movement. So if you're looking at it from this perspective, guys, we're getting a price squeeze from the large scale perspective here. So I would say that probably, you know, if we get a breakout here like this, like in the short term, then that changes things. Obviously the same thing goes for, you know, a bearish break. But I think until, you know, around this time, just like right before summer, guys, I think, you know, that's when we're going to find out what direction Bitcoin is really headed. So I would say that we have another month or two before we get any real movement out of Bitcoin. But I could be wrong about that, guys. You know, anything's possible. But I think another month or two and we'll really be able to find out what's going on. So if you guys are buying now, you know, you might make money, you might not. But I think if you wait a little bit, you'll be able to actually get a better clue on what's happening with the crypto market. So, coin market cap right now, guys, the market cap is 376 billion. And that is actually kind of what we've actually, you know what, honestly, most live streams that I've had in the past couple of weeks, that's actually the number that's been there almost every time. 375, 380, 369. Like that number has always been there. So really, guys, the market cap is just sideways right now. I think the market is really being tested at this point for demand. We're going to find out soon what the demand for Bitcoin is like. And I think that, you know, if you go to Google Trends and stuff, guys, you search Bitcoin on Google Trends, it's fizzling out. The general population is not searching Bitcoin. They're not really searching crypto. You know, you can even look up Ethereum. You know, everything is losing traction in terms of, you know, trending. You know, crypto isn't trending right now anymore, guys. But I think that, you know, if we get a long-term push into the downside, eventually we'll find a low and we'll be, you know, we'll build back up from there. But I think that's what we need first, guys. I don't think, you know, if Bitcoin was to go up now, the only thing that would create is more people selling. That's all it would do. It would just put more people in the profit zone, and it would create more sellers. We need to get ourselves into this, you know, below this critical level, so that we can get people to sell, you know, get people to FUD. Honestly, this is the healthiest thing I could see Bitcoin doing, is selling below the critical support level, finding a low in the low thousands, and then from there, guys, the only thing left is buyers, and we'll see something like this again. But we have to get below this critical support in order to create an environment that would allow something like this to happen. Something like this, guys, is never going to happen again if we just go up forever. It just won't. You have to have long-term bearish moves in order to get crazy price swings. So, guys, I'm just saying, be careful when you're trading out there. A bearish move down is super likely, in my opinion. It's very probable at this point. Also, my skin is kind of red because I spent a bunch of time in the sun today. My forehead looks like a tomato. Got a bit of a sunburn today, guys. So this is what the bulls need right now. So we're seeing like a tiny bit of support. I don't think it's going to hold up, but you know, bulls are going to really need to see this thing squeeze out of here. If we're not going to continue on this, you know, touching down on this bottom support line. Yeah, Craig is saying this is millennials. Patience is gone from society. Yeah, I know, honestly. It really is. Patience is totally gone. People do not want to hear what I'm saying. They do not want to hear long-term bearish move, because that means they're not making money this week. You know, they're so short-sighted. Millennials would rather have the price bounce up to 15K or something for a couple of weeks than they would, you know, wait for the price to come down, level out, and then push back up in the long term and create another environment that looks like this. Because we will not, guys, I promise you, we will not get these moves from here. It just won't happen. Unless I'm grossly underestimating and miscalculating the demand for Bitcoin. which is a possibility. Unless I'm completely miscalculating Bitcoin's demand, I do not think we're just gonna, I don't think that we're just gonna see, a rally out of here like that. I don't think that really makes sense to me. But I could be wrong. I could be completely miscalculating Bitcoin's demand and its level of manipulation. But in order to get this environment again, guys, we need to break to the downside, and we need to find a nice low, and then eventually it'll just be a buyer's market, and we'll rally back out. IGGL is saying, so are we in the same market as 2014? No, we're not in the same market as 2014. This is the 2014 chart, guys. The environment was very different here. I mean, people, Bitcoin wasn't really hitting the mainstream here, guys. It's very different. Although we could see a similar scenario, but the actual environment that we're in is very different. It's really nothing like this right now. So, I mean, it really depends, guys. Like, if we really are as overbought as I think we are, I think, we could ride, we could be in a bear market till the end of the year. It's possible, guys. But for anyone who's joining the stream, I think I accidentally deleted some of these patterns we had drawn out here, but we were looking at these channels. This is that previous 6K low bounce. We were looking at the price channels here. If my mouse will let me draw this, we can actually see what I'm talking about. So there would be your support and resistance. So there's that channel, guys. We have a very similar channel showing right now here. It's almost identical, guys. It's crazy. You had this initial top found, bounced down, broke out of the channel for a brief period, and then played in it. Same thing here, guys. That short-term top, bounced down, rallied out of it, and we just, bounced in here a couple times. The pattern is so similar. It's crazy, actually. And one thing to point out, guys, one thing to keep in mind right now, we are getting lower lows. Lows are getting lower right now, and highs are also getting lower. Keep this in mind. So this is the current market we're in. We had a bounce here off of this resistance line. It was support for a little bit, but it just wasn't able to hold. Lows getting lower, guys. Right here. Highs also getting lower. So, I mean, it's a bear market. Do not be surprised to see continued bearish movement. That really should not surprise you at this point when you're looking at this. We had this short term, guys, the recent, I was looking at the last stream I was doing. We were looking at this price wedge. The price was sort of wedging its way in like this and right here. And what I was personally looking for was a return to the bottom of the wedge. I was thinking that we were going to actually drop off and touch the bottom, and then eventually get a, if I pull this over, touch the bottom of that wedge, and eventually I thought we were going to pop out of here and have another scenario kind of like this. This wedge here, guys. I thought we were going to see something similar, but we didn't get that. So this was that previous bounce. We popped out of this wedge here like that, and we eventually rolled over. I thought we were going to get a return here, and then we were going to pop out here. But we actually got out of the wedge a little too early, a little prematurely, and I think that's why, the market doesn't see strength right now. We got out of that wedge a little too early, guys. And I think this is gonna, I think we're gonna, at least fall back to that zone. That's what I'm thinking, guys. Continued bearish move. Maybe when we get down here, we get a pop out. And this area right here, guys, is 7,700. That's that. I really see us coming back to the zone. $7,700 is something that I definitely see us touching again. I think that's where all the trends are pointing to right now, guys. $7,700 at least. And then eventually, you know, we might get a bounce out, kind of like what we saw here. Got to rally out of that zone. But I think ultimately, guys, you know, we might play in this area. It might look bullish for a short period of time, but I think ultimately we are going to return and find ourselves retesting this critical support. You know, it's not going to happen like that. It's not, I'm not talking about timing necessarily, but probably mid-June we might see ourselves back at that support. Corn beef soup is saying, can you look at Bitcoin on log scale to furthest history to give your opinion the overall picture? So I personally don't really like looking at log scale that much, although we can do that. This is log scale here, guys. So when you're looking at it from log scale, I hope you guys can see this. You know, these candles are a little bit small for you guys probably. But you know, this is what it looks like in log scale. So like we had our, you know, we had our moves happening like this, guys. We were having our parabolic lows. We were moving up nicely. Parabolic, and right there, guys. That's that shift. We were moving parabolically, and then we got a shift over to the right, and now it's not parabolic anymore. Sorry to say, guys, but we are slightly, you know, it's now moving sideways a little bit more. You could even look at it with this support here. So, you guys, it's not a parabolic market, obviously. So, the fact that we ran up this much, and now we're getting these price pushes down, and we're breaking through those parabolic moves, I would definitely expect us to get a good retrace to retest these support lines. I don't think we're going to go this low necessarily, but guys, I do think that we're going to get a move into this zone at least. You know, it could be even like down here. This is what I'm expecting, $2,500 low. I mean, and it would kind of resemble what we saw here a little bit if that did happen. But guys, I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to die. I'm just saying like we're going to get a nice solid retrace, and then eventually we'll start building back out, you know? And then after this move happens, the only thing left is going to be buyers, and we'll probably rally the hell out of here. You know, once we hit a nice low, hit that nice low, guys, and you know, we might trade like this for a bit, eventually pop out of here, build on out, you know, and see a nice healthy push back up, guys, and we'll see another nice parabolic rally, something like that. But I think we have to retest this area, guys. I really just don't see Bitcoin just, you know, rallying out of here like that. To me, that doesn't make sense right now. The parabolic move broke, and we haven't even seen the repercussions of all the manipulation and the tether and all that stuff. We haven't seen the repercussions of that yet. I don't even think the actual bear market has taken place yet, guys. We're still sitting here on this critical level. We had a small bounce out of here, which is kind of expected. But, you know, I think we're going to continue on the downtrend, and eventually we'll build back out, guys. Craig Neve is saying July crash coming. My guess, Crypto Market TV. Can you look at 730.50 weekly EMA? 730.50 weekly EMA. Let me get rid of all these lines here. Wait, so you're saying 730.50? Is this what you're saying? Yeah, I mean, like it's so clear at this point that we're just we're gonna get parabolic moves down. Honestly, I really do expect this. The price is moving right into all these movies. You know, before when we were rallying, guys, the price was always staying above the middle average here, and now we broke right into it, and that's, you know, destroying the confidence in the market. But this is your 730.50 weekly. I don't really use this. The Yeah, I usually just look at the 50, 100, 200, but this is your 730, 50. To me, guys, this support just doesn't seem like it's going to hold up, and I think we're probably going to get a break lower. It might not happen just yet, but I think we are going to get a break below this zone. I mean, parabolic moves are gone. Steve G is saying, hey, Kevin, do you think Tether is a safe place to hold money on the sidelines? That's a good question. I would have to look into it more. I need to look into what is happening to Tether, because I have seen some reports about them being investigated. So, you know, if they're getting investigated, who knows if that's, you know, who knows what they will do to hide their criminal activity. So I guess I would say Tether is probably not a good place to store your money right now. At this point, like, first off, I just morally I don't believe in Tether, because it's fake money, and it's what helped push this price up so much, which was great for profit, but it's bad for the market as a whole, and that's why we're going to start seeing these moves down, guys. We're going to start seeing lower lows. You know, we might even continue on this trend here. We might even find ourselves, you know, bouncing down to this zone, and that's going to be because of Tether, guys. Things like Tether that are, it's just fake money propping the market up, pumping the market with fake monopoly money. But you know, Tether, the use case for Tether is great because you can store your money into something and your value doesn't change. So it is super convenient, and like, it is extremely useful. But, you know, overall, guys, Tether is like so bad for the market. It's so bad. You know, every exchange should be ashamed of themselves for using Tether, honestly. It's destroying the valuation of crypto. I mean, short term it's great because you get these huge price pumps, but it's you're gonna see the repercussions of it, guys. Thank you, Crypto Cali. Appreciate that, man. Lester is saying 3, 7, 30, 50 EMA is better to see short-term movements. Yeah. I mean, for long-term stuff, I'm usually doing like 50, 100, 200, just like a standard thing, you know. Well, the 50 looks a little weird on here. I'm just gonna take that out on this log scale. Oh, now it has the 10 drawn, whatever. Why can't it doesn't let me get rid of it? That's annoying. Can I just do both of them 100 so it's less? No, doesn't work. But yeah, I mean, for long term, it's a little bit better to use these. Wait, why are my EMAs so weird? A little better. It's interesting to look at it on the daily too. You know, whenever we touch that 200, guys, we got a rally during this bull market. It never went below the 200, and then we just started trading sideways. This is actually when I started my channel, guys. Like right in this area. It was just curling over. It was just so obvious to me that we were entering a bear market. Here's your SMAs. Also, maybe bring up this is the daily chart, 3-day chart. Yeah, guys, it's gonna be super bearish if we just get a price hold below the 100 SMA. So looking at the RSI, let's go to the weekly. So, you know, as long as we're below 50, it's kind of a bearish indication. Below 50 on the daily as well. At 44. But yeah, guys, it's actually easiest. I mean, it's easiest to see the actual break in the parabolic moves when you're looking at just linear, because you can clearly see that it just snapped out of there. But you know, on the log scale, it's a little bit more subtle, but it's also obvious. You know, the environment of the crypto market's changed, guys. It's all changed. It's no longer doing this. Getting those continuous resistance points, lower highs. Crypto Market TV says, I would tip if you had super chat. Yeah, I can't, so I don't have monetization, guys. Not yet. I'm almost like halfway there to my, you know, to the actual requirements for YouTube. So then, you know, eventually that'll be possible. But if you go to kevinsvenson.com, I do have some I think it's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, PayPal donation tabs. If you are interested in doing that, I would highly appreciate it. But you know, I personally, I'm not even in crypto right now, so I wouldn't even have anything to tip if I were in your guys' position. Yeah, this guy's, it's like so, it's such a weak, you know. Let me get out of log scale. The support here is weak, guys. I think we are going to continue down. Crypto Market TV says, I'm scared and thinking of going 100% cash. I mean, like, I'm not just sitting here trying to scare you guys. I'm literally just telling you what I think. Like, because if you guys have been following this channel, like, I've called every reversal, like, at this point. Here, and here. Those were my three major calls, guys, and they all turned out to be true. So, like, I might not be, my overall prediction might be wrong. Like, we might not actually get a break below this critical support. But, like, I have been making pretty consistent calls, guys. And I don't know, you shouldn't be scared just yet. I don't think you should be, you don't have to be, like, super afraid just yet. Like, nothing major is gonna happen. Like I was talking about this before, guys. This chart will let me zoom out. I mean, overall, the price is squeezing in a slightly bullish way when you're looking at it in linear. So you don't have to be afraid just yet, guys. Like, there's still a lot of tests Bitcoin has to go through before we can, actually be scared. Like, we're gonna probably we're gonna consolidate in here probably for a bit. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen in the short term. How things are gonna play out in the short term. That's so hard to predict, but I think the price is squeezing in this zone, and eventually, pretty soon, within a month or two, we're gonna find out, guys. We're gonna find out which way we're going. I would think. Lester is saying, I changed my RSI settings to 21 days instead of 14 from TradingView. Find it more precise. Yeah, I can see that. Steve G is saying, if you were to give it percentage odds, how sure are you that we will hit 5,000? How sure am I in percentage odds? I would say I'm like 75% sure we're hitting 5K again. That's just my prediction, though. I'm not a financial advisor, guys. This is not financial advice. This is strictly for educational and entertainment purposes. But I would say 75% chance we're hitting 5K again. Like, I'm not guaranteeing lower prices. I'm just telling you what I think. Nothing's ever a guarantee. It's just what I think. I'm not sitting here telling you guys we're going lower. Like, I'm just saying I think we're going lower. Like, I'm not sitting here being authoritarian about it. A bearish maximalist. That's not, guys. There's so many possibilities. But I think overall we're gonna be retesting this soon. And I think we're going to get that horizontal movement and eventually a breakdown. But yeah, guys, that's kind of all I have for the stream today. This support's not looking too good. This is the 15-minute. Not looking all that great here. So anyone who is new to the stream right now, I'm gonna end the stream soon. But before I do that, let me just recap what I've been talking about today. So let's just do a full recap on, talking about a little bit of the last stream, what we were talking about, and a little bit of what happened today. So we were looking at this wedge pattern here in the last stream, and I was talking about how I think it's possible we might get something similar here. I was looking at this right here and about right here. And what I was personally expecting, guys, that video called Next Upcycle, I thought we were actually going to be falling back to this zone, kind of like what we saw here, and then we would get a more powerful push out of the wedge. If we had retraced, I think this push would have been a lot more powerful, and then we would have saw something similar right here. We would have probably saw something similar like that here. The price would bounce around a little bit and then ultimately fall. That's kind of what and that's still possible now because we are above that resistance point. So we could be seeing a bounce off of this zone right here, like 8K, something like that. Get a short-term rally and eventually curl over again. That's what I'm expecting. But last stream, that's what we were talking about. We were looking at these wedges. But at the beginning of this stream, I was also talking about, those wedges were similar, but also, this price channel is super similar as well. So we have this price channel here, guys, and it's like, looking at the way it looks here, like look at this, it's like the same thing. So similar price action might play out again. We might get a return to that 6,500 level from here. But I mean, just looking at these support zones, guys, lower lows, never a good sign. Definitely a bearish indication. And highs are getting lower as well. So higher lows, lower lows. Same thing happened here. Eventually we might get a bounce. Short-term, bullish movement, but I think eventually we're going to be looking at something similar to this. Retest that key support and break lower. But that is just my opinion, guys. Jason's saying this did break out your last chart on the last stream, though, didn't it? Yeah, I mean, like, in my last stream, I was looking, like I just said, we were looking at this channel, and we had this particular pullback. I thought that was going to be our pullback, and I thought we were going to retest this low and hit that $7,800, $7,700 mark and then rally out. That's what I was expecting. Although, we got that retrace and we popped out of the zone there. And I think that's actually overall, like, yeah, in the short term, we got a bullish movement. But I think in the long term, that's not going to be good for the market. I mean, that's, in order to create a stronger move up, we need more of a retracement and then a bounce out. That would have created a stronger push. But this push was weak because we had no retrace. We just kept moving out. This super slow controlled way, we just like slowly push out of the zone, and I think that's ultimately bearish for Bitcoin. If we had gotten a healthier pullback, we might have had to have a more long-term Bitcoin rally. Well, short-term. I'm not saying long-term. I mean, like, something like this time frame. We would have saw more of a rally out of this zone and had something like this happen. But again, guys, the price is squeezing right now, so, keep that in mind. Overall, we are getting this price squeeze. So again, by the time we get to, beginning of July, I would think that we're going to, be it'll be a little bit more stagnant, and I think we'll have more of an idea of what direction we're going to go. But yeah, let's look at real quick, I'm going to look at the Heikin-Ashi candles. Just looking at, this is great for finding your trends, guys. Just makes way more sense when you're looking at trends to look at the Heikin-Ashi candles. I'm really curious to see, guys, how is the market going to be reacting here? Like even if we do get a rally out of this zone, eventually we're going to be playing back like this. And then you know, once we get to this area, we're either going to get a big price push up or a big price push down. I mean, there is the potential for like a gradual fall, but I don't think it's going to happen that way, guys. Once we get past that 6,000K support, it'll get pretty violent. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for today's stream. Thank you guys so much for joining. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I hope you guys broadened your perspective maybe. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it. So again, looking at these price channels, let me get back to my candlesticks. So if we're continuing on this channel, guys, a fall down to $7,700 to $7,800 is your next support. But guys, thank you so much for joining the stream. I'm going to be ending it now. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit that bell button if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much, and I will see you soon.